This video is a somewhat random list of the things that I've done that demonstrate to other people and to me that all these strange methods I use actually have power to work and do some good in the world. Number one, when I ran out of money because of an argument with my father over the Vietnam War while at college, I did two things. Didn't have food, so I got a job in breakfast service for the women's dorm, serving breakfast to women, and they gave free breakfast to the staff who got up early enough to do that work. And that got me food while I had to figure out how to get money. Then during that, I created a creativity weekend school, Friday night to Sunday night dinner, and 2 overnights with these kids. And that gave the parents a romantic weekend without kids, and I took care of the kids from Friday night to Sunday night. And then we had a big, gorgeous dinner Sunday night where the parents came back to pick up their kids. And we ended up with, these were, I recruited from MIT Harvard faculty to take care of their kids. And I ended up with 142 kids per weekend at $100 a kid. So I made a hell of a lot more money than tuition required. Number two, I taught self-calculus and the beginnings of math. Nothing more than the beginnings. Topology up to Hausdorff spaces and analysis of real numbers and a little bit of number theory and Cantor's set theory and stuff like that in elementary school. Ended up at junior high school taking college courses in math and getting A+ grades on them because years earlier in elementary school I'd already done the homework and read the books. And I developed a lifelong habit of reading books outside of whatever school assigned because the books outside of school were vastly more interesting than the books schools assigned. Number three, I doubled permanently, actually tripled if you round it up, tripled permanently the per capita village income in the poorest villages of Korea, in Jeju, Korea, by being not important and low-level male in the NGO there and talking to the women and not talking to the village men, which all the big shots were doing. And the women actually knew what was going on, and then I did what the women suggested doing, and it revolutionized economic development in the village and the emotional balance among men and women in the village. And whereas 10 years of previous tactics by the men who were managing me in other projects, not in this village, I came to help out the village project. Their 10 years of prior work had done nothing to develop the village or change attitudes. So listening to the village women turned out to be key. Number four, I designed a workshop event of 800 people over 10 days in Yubari, Hokkaido that created 16 new businesses, staffed them, legalized them, and funded them, and designed their initial products and work processes, all in that 10-day workshop. We didn't actually have the same 800 people during the whole 10 days. We had a flow of people that was 800 people a day working, and some of them were there for 2 days and left, and others were there for 3 days and left, and some of them were there the whole time and left. As needed by the procedures and what was being built during the workshops each day. Then at the University of Michigan, I took my homework there from 2 masters and a PhD degree and turned it into an award-winning book called The Global Quality, which the University of Chicago faculty said was a work of genius. Actually, founders of the University of Chicago Business School wrote that, and it was a work of genius. And then the Purdue University faculty said it was one of the 21 best books in quality. They put it on their Excellence 21 list. Then I made the first sale to General Motors from EDS, other than by Ross Perot, the chairman of EDS, by creating a female-style event to overcome the overly male culture of EDS, which was being rejected by the customer GM and causing us not to sell. And me and my 22-year-old employees just said what the biggest problem was is they're not selling, and what the problem is the entire culture of our company is too male, and therefore we need a female event to attract the customer. And we designed a female event, and lo and behold, it produced millions of dollars of sales. And I was flown to Langley, Virginia by Ross Perot's personal airplane and assistant to work with intelligence agencies as a reward for that work. My project on turning automatically semi-structured conversations into the software that was discussed in those semi-structured conversations, a conversation to software application compiler, we called it, was the first presentation, chosen to be the first presentation at Xerox's first document symposium, a meeting of 400 top managers. Not only that, but the National Security Agency secretly listened to our emails and ordered 600 copies before we actually literally announced the product to our own vice president internally. I was the most expensive faculty move in the history of the University of Chicago, apparently of all departments. And this was due to my personal library of 44,000 books, 3 books a day for 45 years. And the dean called me into his office with his bill for the move, and he couldn't believe how much they had spent moving me. He said, "What the hell was going on? You told me your wife and you didn't have kids, and how could you possibly?" And then I showed him a casual photograph of the boxes of books stacked in their hall, and the boxes of books. We had the only 4-bedroom apartment in Regents Park, Chicago, near the campus. And because we needed all 4 of those walls of those rooms to put all the books on bookshelf. Fortunately, when I went to Tokyo a few years ago, and my wife wanted me to move into a small condo to prepare for retirement living, just at that time, there were 3 companies or more in Tokyo that for $1 a book would PDF the whole book and then throw the book away so as not to violate copyright law, and give you a PDF copy of all of your books, which made each page and chapter searchable. It's wonderful. Then I co-founded 3 Silicon Valley software technology ventures while I was at Xerox Palo Alto Research Center. 2 of them still alive, and 1 of them died. Lots of stories about that, but I don't want to get into the here. Then I studied creative writing at Wellesley College, and just by luck, W.H. Auden happened to be in town visiting at Harvard, so he was available, and I had a personal class with him. Ray Bradbury, visiting at MIT, was available, had a personal class with him. Lillian Hellman, the dramatist, socialist dramatist, was there. And Robert Pinsky, the leader of modern American poetry for many years, was there. So I really had a wonderful education. And then I played roles in 6 Shakespeare plays as part of the Wellesley Shakespeare Society. They needed me on Wellesley for some of those roles, so that was fun. Lots of fun. Then let's see, 10 of my former seminar students have been selected as best employee in all of Asia for their global firms: Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Mitsubishi, Shoji, Hewlett-Packard, ING, Recruit, Lever Brothers, Dentsu, Google, and Aflac. 39 of my former seminar students now manage their own design firms in Milan and London and Tokyo and Los Angeles. 2 of my former seminar students at age 34 are CEOs of companies with more than 2,000 employees. One of them is the largest medical equipment manufacturer in Taiwan, and the other one is the 2nd largest cosmetics company in Thailand. The nice thing about that is I've got about 300 grads in my research seminars, and about 100 of them have already won prizes or become CEO or founded their own companies. So it's quite clear that the seminar was extraordinary. In many cases, they are working for companies that no one from this particular Japanese university ever got hired by before. So it was and then one of my students is in LinkedIn as a department manager after a PhD in computer science he got at Stanford under my advice. So it's an extraordinarily powerful seminar, and it means, the nice thing for me is it means my methods work just as well in Japan with Japanese and just as well in China with Chinese as they do with Americans in Chicago. And so I don't have to listen to local people who say, well, you're in Japan, so only Japanese methods work in Japan. That's crap. My methods work better in Japan than Japanese methods do, because my students have far more success than the students of Japanese professors I was in the department with. It's nice to know that, but it's good to have data to confirm it so that you can, push back rather than be internally conflicted about that.